Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and welcome to the House of Mouse headlines for the week of November 8th, 2020, also known as the most important news you'll hear in recent days. I'm kidding, of course. The House of Mouse headlines is brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. In this week's news, good and bad developments from Downtown Disney, a Muppetastic return at Magic Kingdom, another round of Batuan imports on Shop Disney, and more. So let's get to it.
Here are the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
First up this week, Hong Kong Disneyland is preparing to officially debut their new castle. The Castle of Magical Dreams, which will celebrate 13 different Disney princesses, including Tiana, Moana, Ariel, Rapunzel, Merida, and many more, will open to the public on November 21st. Ahead of this date, the resort recently hosted a campaign which invited guests, cast members, community partners, and other Disney friends to share their own dreams and wishes on magical dream cards. These cards were then collected in a treasure chest and are now stored safely in the castle's highest tower. That's such a cute idea. Look for more images of the new structure to pop up in the coming weeks as Hong Kong Disneyland finally gets a castle it can call its own. Even though the state of California has already issued its reopening guidance for theme parks, there continues to be pushback from city leaders and industry groups. Most recently, mayors of 8 California cities signed a letter asking Governor Newsom to amend his guidelines for large theme parks. Specifically, they requested that these businesses be able to reopen in Tier 3 instead of Tier 4. Signatories include Anaheim Mayor Harry Sadu, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, and San Diego Mayor Kevin Falconer, among others. At this time, there's no update on whether the letter will sway any further decision, but we can likely expect more back and forth in the coming weeks. Those planning to visit Disneyland Resort will now have one more reason to download the Disneyland app. Now, the resort will be using the app to provide operational alerts and has discontinued the use of the Disneyland Today Twitter account. Disney is also urging guests to be sure they have the latest version of the app downloaded on their mobile device before visiting, with location services and notifications enabled so they can receive updates including parking information. Therefore, before your next trip, be sure to head to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store to download the Disneyland app. A couple of weeks ago, the Disneyland Resort announced plans to reopen Buena Vista Street dining and shopping venues as an extension of Downtown Disney later this month. Now they've set an official reopening date, November 19th. In addition to the previously announced venues that will be available on this date, it looks as though Award Wieners, which is technically in Hollywoodland at Disney California Adventure, will also reopen. Something of note is that Disney says a mobile waitlist may be used when Buena Vista Street and/or its queue are at capacity. Also, as a reminder, none of the attractions in Disney California Adventure will be open. While the reopening of Buena Vista Street may be good news for fans, another change that comes along with it might not be so welcome. Starting November 19th, Downtown Disney will begin charging a $10 per car fee to park in the Simba lot. Previously, parking had been complimentary since the district reopened, which totally makes sense considering the fact that all you'll be able to do there is spend money on food and dining. This is very disappointing news as Universal City Walk and Knott's Berry Farm continue to offer free parking to entice guests to visit and spend money. In any case, if you do plan on checking out Buena Vista Street or other Downtown Disney venues, make sure you're ready for this additional fee. Over at Walt Disney World, guests visiting the Magic Kingdom this week got a bit of a surprise. The park's world-famous Jungle Cruise has once again transformed into the Jingle Cruise as the seasonal overlay made an unannounced return. Of course, this merry voyage still has several new safety measures in place, including plexiglass dividers to separate parties. It's unclear how long the Jingle Cruise will run for, but it's a pretty safe bet that it'll at least ring in the new year. In other surprise holiday delight news, the Muppets have re-emerged at Magic Kingdom as well. While their Great Moments in American History show remains dark, guests strolling through Liberty Square might just catch Kermit, Fozzie, Sam Eagle, Miss Piggy, or other favorites pop up for a wave. While it might be a small gesture, it's always great to see the Muppets in the Disney parks. Elsewhere at Walt Disney World, even Santa Claus is staying socially distanced this holiday season. As a result, Disney Springs will now play host to Santa's Winter Watercade. Yep, this is real. This will feature an array of colorfully decorated pontoon boats with Santa and Mrs. Claus waving to guests as they drift by. Meanwhile, guests will discover Christmas around every corner as they come across a collection of elaborately decorated Disney Christmas trees spread throughout the district. Then in the evening, guests visiting areas within Town Center, West Side, and The Landing will encounter a magical snowfall, adding an extra touch of wonder to their holiday shopping. All of this and even more holiday fun can now be found at Disney Springs. Those seeking treasures from Batuu and finding themselves unable to physically visit the planet are in luck, as another shipment of goods has arrived on Shop Disney. Products in this shipment come from 2 locations in the market, the Toydarian Toy Maker and the Creature Stall. In addition to several plushes and other playthings from Toydarian arriving on the site, off-planet shoppers can now rescue an exotic animal from a galaxy far, far away and download a printable adoption certificate to strengthen the bond between them and their special friend. If that's still not enough to scratch your Galaxy's Edge itch, stay tuned as Shop Disney promises that more shipments will be coming in the future. Some sad news this week as legendary actor Sean Connery has passed away at the age of 90. Connery is best known for his portrayal of James Bond in several of the franchise's films, but also had a number of Disney credits to his name as well. Perhaps most notably, he starred in Darby O'Gill and the Little People, playing Michael McBridge. Of course, he also played Indiana Jones's father in Lucasfilm's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and had roles in touchstone projects such as The Rock. Our hearts go out to his family, friends, and fans during this difficult time. The greatest of all-time Jeopardy contestants will be heading back to ABC for a new game show. The network has given a 9-episode series order for their remake of British quiz show The Chase. Hosted by The View's Sarah Haynes, the show will see Ken Jennings, James Hazelhauer, and Brad Rutter taking turns as the game's chasers that contestants will compete against. Currently, there is no air date for The Chase, but keep an eye on your local ABC affiliate. Finally this week, ABC has announced its slate of holiday programming through the end of the year. Some of the highlights include another Disney Family Sing-Along installment titled The Disney Holiday Sing-Along that will air on Monday, November 30th, and a reimagined version of the Disney Parks Magical Christmas Day celebration that will of course air on December 25th. The season will also see the re-airing of specials such as Olaf's Frozen Adventure and Prep and Landing, new holiday episodes of The Goldbergs and Blackish, and broadcasts of family-friendly fare including The Greatest Showman. So if you're looking for holiday cheer, ABC will have you covered. That's going to do it for the news this week, so let's get to this week's Twitter poll where I said, if there's one thing the last few days have confirmed, it's that this country is very divided. With that in mind, do you think the Hall of Presidents belongs at Walt Disney World? Your options were yes, it's classic, or no, it's too controversial. In second place was no, it's too controversial with 41% of the votes, but most of you say yes, it's a classic with 59% of the votes. Do you agree with these results? Cast your vote in the Twitter poll every week by following Dizney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEY CTC on Twitter. And folks, if you haven't listened to this past Wednesday's episode, be sure and check it out as it's a Primetime at the Park segment featuring the ABC show The Middle. And this upcoming Wednesday, I share details about my experience visiting Walt Disney World during the pandemic. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss any of the magic is by subscribing to Disney Coast to Coast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you search, don't forget it's Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast. Also, folks, don't forget that for a limited time, you can order your Zelinsky Labs face mask inspired by the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids franchise over at whositswhatsits.com or by clicking the link in this episode's description. And to become part of the DCTC community and gain bonuses, head on over to patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.